Welcome back to Z Coins. Today we are diving into the exciting world of rare coins. Specifically, we are talking about the top 8 most valuable Washington quarter-dollar coins that are worth an absolute fortune in today's market. Some of these coins have even reached million-dollar territory. So sit tight, grab a drink, and let us begin this incredible journey through American numismatic history. We are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1980 Washington quarter dollar. You might think it is just pocket change, but some of these coins are worth a fortune. In this video, we are going to uncover the full story behind the 1980 Washington quarter, its history, its value over the decades, and what it could be worth today. So stick around until the end because you might be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. First, let us start with a little history. The Washington quarter has been a part of American currency since 1932. It was introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The original design by John Flanagan featured Washington's profile on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. Fast forward to 1980. By that time, millions of quarters were being minted every year for daily transactions. The 1980 quarter was struck at the Denver Mint. You can easily recognize it by the small D mint mark on the obverse side right next to Washington's ponytail. That year, the Denver Mint produced an astonishing number of quarters, over 518 million coins. Because of this huge mintage, you might think that the 1980 quarter would not be valuable at all. But that is where the story gets interesting. While most 1980 quarters are common and only worth their face value in circulated condition, there are rare exceptions that collectors are willing to pay big money for. What makes these coins valuable are factors like condition, errors, and special varieties. Let's first talk about condition. In coin collecting, condition is king. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale known as the Sheldon scale. A grade of 70 means a perfect coin with no flaws visible even under magnification. Coins that are in mint state condition, meaning they have never been circulated, can fetch significantly higher prices. A 1980 quarter in lower mint state grades like MS60 to MS63 might be worth a few dollars. But if you find one graded MS65, MS66, or even higher, the value can jump dramatically. Some MS67 examples have sold for more than $500 at auction. Imagine turning a 25-cent coin into hundreds of dollars. Now let us talk about errors. Error coins are a collector's dream. These are coins that left the mint with some kind of mistake, like being struck off center, having a double die error, or being produced on the wrong planchet. Although rare, a 1980 quarter with a significant mint error can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the severity and rarity of the error. One known example is a 1980 quarter struck on a nickel planchet. This error makes the coin much lighter and slightly smaller than a regular quarter, and collectors go crazy for pieces like this. Next, there are varieties. Sometimes during the minting process, minor differences occur that create what are called varieties. These might include repunched mint marks or slight doubling of the design. Collectors who specialize in varieties are always on the lookout for these rare finds. While no major varieties are officially recognized for the 1980 quarter yet, there could be discoveries out there that have not been widely reported. If you find something unusual, it is always a good idea to have it checked out by a professional coin grader or dealer. Alright, so what about the current market value? As of today, a regular 1980 Washington quarter in circulated condition is worth around 25 cents to $1 depending on wear and demand. In uncirculated condition, you are looking at about $5 to $15 for average mint state grades. Higher grades like MS66 can sell between $50 and $150. The rare top pop MS67 coins have been auctioned for prices ranging from $400 to even over $1,000. Error coins are a different story. Significant mint errors can easily fetch between $200 and $1,000 or more depending on how rare and dramatic the error is. Now you might be wondering how to find these valuable coins. The good news is they are still out there. Check your pocket change. Look through old coin jars. Visit flea markets, garage sales, and estate auctions. Sometimes people have old coins and they do not realize their hidden value. Also, if you are serious about hunting valuable coins, it is smart to invest in a good magnifying glass and learn how to spot details that others might miss. Finally, a quick tip. If you believe you have a valuable 1980 quarter or any rare coin, it is a smart move to get it professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC. Having your coin graded and authenticated adds a lot of credibility when you go to sell it, and it often increases its market value significantly. So there you have it. The 1980 Washington Quarter might look like ordinary change, but under the right conditions it can be worth a lot of money. Whether it is a high-grade mint state coin, a rare mint error, or an undiscovered variety, there are opportunities out there. Keep your eyes open and happy hunting. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our future videos about valuable coins and hidden treasures. Share this video with your friends and family too. You never know who might have a rare quarter sitting in their piggy bank. We are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1967 Washington Quarter. At first glance, the 1967 quarter might look pretty ordinary. After all, millions were minted, and they pop up even today in circulation, but hidden among them are some valuable secrets that could be worth a fortune to the right collector. First, let's go back to the beginning. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the quarter features the profile of Washington on the obverse and an eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. For many years, these coins were minted in 90% silver, but by 1965, rising silver prices forced the United States Mint to change the composition. From then on, quarters were made with a copper nickel clad instead of pure silver. That brings us to 1967. 1967, the country was still recovering from the silver crisis, and coin hoarding was rampant. To combat shortages, Congress ordered the U.S. Mint to strike coins without mint marks between 1965 and 1967. That means no matter where your 1967 quarter was minted, it will not have a mint mark. There are no PD or S markings on any 1967 quarters. Now let's talk about the numbers. In 1967, over 1.5 billion quarters were produced. That sounds like a lot, and it is. But not every 1967 quarter is created equal. Most circulated heavily and have little value above 25 cents. Today, however, certain high-quality or error coins are extremely valuable. One of the biggest things to look for in a 1967 Washington quarter is a high-grade uncirculated example. Coins graded MS-67 or higher by grading companies like PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. To give you an example, a 1967 quarter graded MS-67 recently sold at auction for over $2,000. That is a massive jump from its face value. Even more exciting are the error coins. Some 1967 quarters were struck on silver planchets by mistake. Remember, even though quarters were supposed to be made from copper nickel, a few leftover silver blanks may have been used in the presses. These silver 1967 quarters are incredibly rare and valuable. If you find one, experts suggest you have it weighed. A normal 1967 clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams, but a silver one will weigh around 6.25 grams. There are also double die errors where the lettering appears doubled on the coin. These are rare and highly prized by collectors. Depending on the severity of the doubling, these coins can sell for hundreds of dollars or more. Now let us move to the current marketas of this year. Most circulated 1967 quarters are still worth just face value. However, if you have a coin in near perfect mint condition, especially MS-67 or higher, you are looking at serious money. Collectors are willing to pay upwards of $1,000 for the best examples. Error coins like double die strikes or silver planchet errors can command even more. Some authenticated silver errors have fetched prices as high as $5,000 at major coin auctions. It is important to remember that condition is key. A coin with scratches, nicks, or wear is worth much less than one in pristine condition. That is why many collectors choose to have their best coins professionally graded and slabbed. So what should you be looking for if you want to find a valuable 1967 quarter? First, look for brilliant uncirculated coins with no signs of wear. Second, check for errors like doubling, especially around the words "Liberty in God We Trust" or the date. Third, if you suspect you have a silver quarter, weigh it on a precise scale to check its weight. You might be wondering, with over 1 billion minted, is it really worth searching through your quarters? The answer is absolutely yes. There are treasure stories every year of people finding valuable coins in pocket change. It takes patience and a keen eye, but the payoff can be amazing. Even finding a common 1967 quarter in MS-65 or MS-66 condition can be worth several times its face value. Before wrapping up, let us quickly talk about proof sets. In 1967, special mint sets were produced instead of traditional proof sets. These special mint sets, or SMS coins, have a unique finish somewhere between a regular strike and a proof coin. They often show sharper details and shinier surfaces. A high-grade SMS 1967 quarter can also be worth good money, especially if it grades SP-67 or SP-68. In conclusion, the 1967 Washington quarter may seem ordinary, but hidden gems are out there. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just starting your coin hunting journey, this is one coin you should not overlook. We are diving deep into the fascinating history of the 1974 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that many collectors often overlook, but which actually carries a lot more value than you might think. Make sure you stick around until the end because I will reveal just how much these coins can be worth today in the current market. Let's start from the beginning. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The original design was created by sculptor John Flanagan and has remained largely unchanged for decades. By the time we reached 1974, the Washington quarter was a well-known and well-loved part of American pocket change. Now, 1974 was an interesting year. It came right before a major change in the U.S. coinage system. In 1975 and 1976, the United States Mint produced the bicentennial quarter to celebrate the 200th anniversary of American independence. Because of that, no regular 1975 Washington quarters were produced. The 1974 quarter was one of the last regular quarters minted before the big design change for the bicentennial. The 1974 Washington quarter was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, which produced coins without a mint mark; Denver, which produced coins with a small d mint mark; and San Francisco, which produced proof coins with an S mint mark. Proof coins were made specifically for collectors, with extra sharp details and a shiny finish. The 1974 quarter was made of a composition of copper and nickel, known as a clad composition. It features a copper core sandwiched between 2 layers of nickel. These coins weigh 5.67 grams and have a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. They have reeded edges, which are the little ridges you can feel around the edge of the coin. In terms of mintage numbers, Philadelphia minted over 801 million quarters in 1974. Denver minted around 353 million. San Francisco produced about 2.6 million proof coins. These are huge numbers, which is why most 1,974 quarters you find today are common and only worth face value if they are worn from circulation. However, condition is everything. If you happen to find a 1974 quarter in mint state condition, especially grades of MS65 or higher, then you are looking at a coin worth much more than 25 cents. Mint state coins are those that have never been circulated. They have no wear, only small imperfections from the minting process. Now let's talk about what makes a 1974 Washington quarter valuable. High grades are the number one factor. A 1974 quarter graded MS65 by PCGS or NGC can be worth around $20 to $50. At MS66, it can fetch between $100 and $200. MS67 coins are very rare and can sell for upwards of $500, sometimes even more if the luster and strike are exceptional. Proof coins from San Francisco also carry extra value, especially if they are designated as deep cameo or ultra cameo by grading companies. These designations mean the coin has a beautiful contrast between the frosted design and the mirrored background. A perfect PR70 deep cameo 1974S quarter can be worth between $100 and $300 depending on the market. Now there are also some rare errors that make 1974 quarters extremely valuable. Some examples include double-die obverse coins where the design elements like the date or the letters appear doubled. These errors can easily bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's condition. Off-center strikes are another sought-after error where the coin design is misaligned. These can also fetch a premium, especially if the date and mint mark are fully visible. Perhaps the most exciting story is the mystery surrounding 1974 aluminum quarters. In 1974, the U.S. Mint experimented with making coins from aluminum due to the rising cost of copper. A few aluminum cents were made, as well as a few aluminum quarters. Although number 1974 aluminum quarters have ever been officially confirmed by the Mint as released, rumors persist that a few may have escaped into circulation. If one were ever authenticated and sold, it could easily be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. Imagine finding one of those in your change.jar.in. The current market, Washington quarters from the 70s are gaining popularity among collectors. As silver coins become too expensive for many new collectors, clad coins like the 1974 quarter are becoming a more affordable and accessible way to build a valuable collection. High-grade coins, coins with beautiful toning, and coins with interesting errors are especially in demand. If you want to know how to spot a valuable 1974 quarter, here are some quick tips. Always check for a strong strike, sharp details, and minimal marks. Look for deep mirror proof-like surfaces on Philadelphia or Denver coins, as these can sometimes receive special designations from grading companies. If you find a quarter that looks strange, like it has doubled letters or an off-center design, make sure to get it professionally appraised. So, how much is a 1974 Washington quarter worth today? A circulated example is worth 25 cents. A mint state example can be worth $20 to $50. High-grade examples can reach into the hundreds, and rare errors can be worth thousands. Proof coins from San Francisco can be worth a few $100s if graded perfectly. In conclusion, while most 1974 quarters you find will not make you rich overnight, there are definitely some that are worth serious money. Always check your coins carefully. Even in everyday pocket change, treasures can still be found. The 1974 Washington quarter may be common, but hidden among them are coins that could make a huge difference to a lucky collector. We have an exciting deep dive into one of the most interesting coins from modern American history, the 1990 Washington quarter. This is a coin that might be hiding in your pocket change right now, and if you are lucky, it could be worth way more than just 25 cents. So sit back, relax, and let us journey through the full story of the 1990 Washington quarter, its history, the errors that make it valuable, and its current market value. Let us start from the beginning. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932. It was designed by sculptor John Flanagan to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Initially meant to be a one-year commemorative issue, it proved so popular that it became a regular issue coin. Fast forward to 1990, the United States Mint at Philadelphia was producing hundreds of millions of quarters that year. In fact, over 925 million Washington quarters were minted in Philadelphia alone, making it one of the more common years in the series. But here is the catch: not all 1990 quarters are ordinary. There are a few special ones that have captured the attention of collectors around the world. One of the most famous issues with the 1990 quarter involves the lack of a mint mark. Normally, Philadelphia coins carry a small letter P above the date. However, some error coins were struck without any mint mark at all. A missing P on a 1990 quarter can transform a common coin into a rare collectible. Such error coins can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their condition. Another factor is the quality of the strike. A well-struck coin with full details on George Washington's hair along with clean surfaces and strong luster can command a premium, even if it is not an error coin. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC assign coins a grade between 1 and 70 N. A 1990 Washington quarter graded mint state 68 or higher can be worth serious money. Now let us talk about real numbers. As of today in 2025, a regular circulated 1990 Washington quarter without any errors is usually worth its face value, just 25 cents. However, in uncirculated condition, even without errors, can fetch between $2 and $5. If you find a superb gem-graded MS-67 or MS-68, it can sell for anywhere between $75 to over $200. Prices can even spike higher at auction if the coin has exceptional eye appeal. For the rare missing mint mark errors, here is where it gets really exciting. Authenticated 1990 P quarters have sold for anywhere from $200 to over $3,000 depending on grade and demand. The highest graded examples can reach staggering amounts. When collectors compete for them, it is important to remember that finding a true missing P error is extremely rare. Many coins with faint or worn mint marks get confused for the genuine no mint mark errors. Only a professional authentication can confirm it. If you ever believe you have one, it is definitely worth sending it to a trusted grading company. Now let us also quickly touch on proofs. Proof versions of the 1990 Washington quarter were struck at the San Francisco Mint. They will carry an S mint mark and are usually struck in much higher detail with mirror-like surfaces. Proofs are collectible, but unless they have unique errors or are graded very highly, they generally sell for around $5 to $10. So in short, the 1990 Washington quarter is an example of why it always pays to check your change. A simple 25-cent coin could turn out to be a valuable treasure, especially if it is in mint state condition or has a rare error to wrap it up. The most valuable 1990 quarters are the ones with no mint mark or those graded in ultra-high mint state grades. If you enjoy hunting through coins, this is definitely one year you do not want to overlook. We are diving deep into one of the most exciting topics for coin collectors and history lovers alike. We are talking about the 1995 Washington quarter dollar. Yes, this seemingly ordinary coin can actually be worth a lot of money under the right conditions. Get ready, because today we are uncovering everything you need to know about the history, the value, and the current market for this fascinating piece of American currency. First, let's start with a little background. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Originally intended to be a one-year commemorative coin, the design became so popular that it remained in circulation year after year. Fast forward to 1995, and the Denver Mint produced millions of Washington quarters that year. However, not all 1995 D quarters are created equal. Some carry very special characteristics that can make them extremely valuable to collectors today. Now, why is the 1995 D quarter particularly interesting? First of all, despite being a modern coin, there are a few reasons why certain examples can fetch serious money. It all comes down to condition, rarity, and specific varieties or errors. Coins that are in perfect or near-perfect condition, known as mint state coins, especially those graded MS67 or higher, are highly sought after. In fact, a 1995 D quarter graded MS68 by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction.to. Give you a better idea, the majority of 1995 D quarters you might find in pocket change today are worth only face value. But if you happen to find one that is in exceptional condition with full strike details and minimal marks, it could be worth significantly more. The key is the grade. A lower grade like MS60 or MS61 might bring a few dollars, while a top-grade MS68 can bring staggering amounts. Now, let us talk about the errors. Collectors love error coins because they are much rarer and tell a unique story about the minting process. Some known errors on 1995 D quarters include double dies, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets. A double die error can be identified when the design elements appear doubled, especially noticeable in the lettering or numbers. These coins can range from a few hundred to several $1,000s depending on the severity and visibility of the error. Off-center strikes are another fascinating variety. Imagine a coin that was not properly centered when struck. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing or skewed. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, these coins can be worth anywhere from $50 to over $500. Another thing to keep in mind is that the Denver Mint typically produces coins with a strong, sharp strike, but even so, weakly struck coins exist. If you find a 1995 D quarter with missing details in the hairlines or eagle feathers on the reverse side, it might be a candidate for a valuable error or anomaly. Let us talk numbers for a moment. Based on recent auction results and the current market, here are some real-world figures. A regular 1995 D quarter in average circulated condition is worth about 25 cents, just its face value. An uncirculated example graded MS65 might bring $10 to $20. A superb gem example graded MS67 could fetch anywhere between $100 and $300. But the true treasure is an MS68 grade quarter, where values can skyrocket to over $1,500 or more depending on the buyer and the auction setting. When it comes to errors, a 1995 D quarter with a prominent double die error can sell for around $200 to $500, depending on the clarity of the doubling and the coin's overall condition. Off-center error coins can bring in $200 to $400 if they are dramatically off-centered and in good condition. It is also important to mention that coin grading matters a lot. Professional grading from companies like PCGS or NGC adds credibility and significantly boosts the value. Collectors are much more willing to pay top dollar for coins that have been authenticated and graded by a respected third-party service. You might be wondering, how can you tell if you have a valuable 1995 D quarter? Here are a few tips. First, check the coin's overall condition. If it looks brand new with no scratches, wear, or blemishes, it might be worth grading. Second, use a magnifying glass to inspect the lettering, date, and design features carefully. Look for doubling, unusual spacing, or missing elements. Third, weigh your coin if possible. A normal Washington quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. Any significant deviation could indicate a wrong planchet error, which is another valuable variety. One more interesting note is about full strike designations. For Washington quarters, collectors sometimes look for coins with fully struck details, especially on the eagle's chest feathers on the reverse side. These coins can bring a premium as well. Now, let's step back and think about the bigger picture. The 1995 D Washington Quarter reminds us that even modern coins in our everyday change can hold incredible value. With a keen eye and a little knowledge, anyone can become a treasure hunter. Whether you are new to coin collecting or a seasoned numismatist, the thrill of finding that rare gem is truly unmatched. Before we wrap up, a quick word of advice. If you believe you have a valuable 1995 D quarter, do not clean it. Cleaning coins can damage their surfaces and drastically reduce their value. Always handle valuable coins carefully by their edges and consider getting professional advice before selling or grading. So there you have it. The 1995 D Washington Quarter is much more than just pocket change. It is a coin rich with history, potential errors, and surprising value. Keep your eyes open and you might just find a little piece of hidden treasure. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more coin collecting tips and history, and leave a comment below if you have ever found a rare or valuable quarter in your change. We are diving deep into the incredible story of the 1998 P Washington quarter dollar coin. This is one coin that might just be sitting in your pocket or coin jar right now, and some of them are worth way more than just 25 cents. You do not want to miss this because we are talking about the history, the details that make these coins valuable, and how much they are selling for today. So let us get started. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932. It was originally minted to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, the design evolved slightly, but the 1998 version remains part of the original style. Before the big changes that came with the state quarters program in 1999, this makes the 1998 P quarter a special coin because it represents the final year of a long-standing traditional design. Now, the P mint mark on the coin stands for the Philadelphia Mint. In 1998, the Philadelphia Mint produced a massive number of these quarters, over 896 million to be exact. That is right, almost 900 million coins. So you might think with so many made that they cannot be worth much, but here is the twist. Certain 1998 P quarters are worth a lot because of specific errors, varieties, and of course, high-grade conditions. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is king. Most 1998 P quarters you find in circulation are going to be pretty worn down. They might have scratches, dings, or faded details, but collectors are always looking for coins that are in what we call mint state. That means they have never been circulated and still have their original luster and sharp details. Now, if you have a 1998 P quarter in mint state condition, specifically graded MS67 or higher by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC, you are looking at serious money. In fact, a 1998 P quarter graded MS67 can sell for over $200, and if you happen to have a coin graded even higher like MS68, that is where the value skyrockets to $1,000 or more at auction. These high-grade coins are rare because it is extremely difficult for a coin to survive the minting process and decades of handling without any flaws. Another thing to look for are error coins. Some 1998 P quarters have errors that occurred during the minting process. Common errors include double die obverse, where the lettering or images appear doubled due to a misalignment during striking. Collectors love these error coins because they are unique and can demand huge premiums depending on the type of error and its visibility. Some error 1998 P quarters have sold for between $50 and $500. One of the most famous errors is the off-center strike, where the design is struck off balance. The more dramatic the off-center error, the more valuable the coin becomes. A 50% off-center 1998 P quarter can easily fetch hundreds of dollars. You might also come across what is called a clipped planchet error, where a piece of the coin appears cut off. Again, the more dramatic the clip, the higher the value. But remember, authenticating error coins is crucial because collectors want to be sure the error happened at the mint and not later on. Now, what about proof coins? In 1998, the U.S. Mint also released special proof sets. These proof quarters were struck in San Francisco and have the S mint mark. They are highly detailed with a mirror-like finish and were intended for collectors, not circulation. Although this video is focusing mainly on the P mint mark coins from Philadelphia, it is worth noting that a perfect condition proof quarter can be worth $10 to $20. And special silver proof versions from 1998 can reach up to $50 or more. Back to the Philadelphia coins. You might wonder what drives prices today. The answer is condition, rarity, and collector demand. As we get further away from 1998, finding high-grade examples becomes harder and harder. Most coins have already been spent and circulated many times as collectors build date sets. That is one coin from each year and mint mark. The demand for pristine 1998 P quarters continues to rise. Now let us talk current market values. As of right now in 2025, if you have a basic circulated 1998 P quarter, it is worth face value just 25 cents. If your coin is in uncirculated condition but not professionally graded, it might sell for $1 to $5 depending on the buyer. However, if you have your coin graded by PCGS or NGC and it earns a grade of MS66 or higher, then the real money starts flowing at MS66. These quarters usually sell for about $30 to $60. At MS67, you are looking at $150 to $300. And at MS68, if you are lucky enough to find one, it can sell for $1,000 or even more at major auction houses. One example, A 1998 P Washington Quarter graded MS-68 sold for a whopping $2,500 at a heritage auction event. That is the kind of big money we are talking about. Of course, not every coin will reach those heights. All comes down to sharp details. No scratches, no stains, no contact marks, and brilliant, original luster. If you think you have a high-grade quarter, it is definitely worth getting it appraised or submitted for professional grading. So before you toss that handful of change back into circulation, check those quarters carefully. Look for Philadelphia mint marks, look for perfect surfaces, look for unusual errors. You never know. That simple coin might just be a hidden treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and that is the fascinating story of the 1998 P Washington Quarter dollar. It is a perfect example of how even modern coins can have big value under the right circumstances. We are diving into the fascinating world of the 1999 D Washington Quarter dollar, featuring the legendary 1787 date reference. You might have one of these coins sitting in your collection or even tucked away in an old drawer, and believe me, it could be worth a lot more than you think. So stick around, because we are going to uncover the full history, special details, major errors, and the current market value that could mean big money for you. Let's get started. First, a little background. The Washington Quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the quarter has gone through many design changes over the decades. By 1999, the U.S. Mint introduced the 50-state quarters program, one of the most ambitious and popular coin programs in U.S. history. Each state received its own unique design on the reverse of the quarter, and 1999 was the first year of this historic series, the 1999 D Washington Quarter, with the 1787 reference points specifically to the Delaware State Quarter, released on January 4, 1999. The Delaware Quarter pays tribute to Caesar Rodney, one of the founding fathers and a key figure in American independence, who rode 70 miles to cast his vote for independence in 1776. The 1787 date honors the year Delaware ratified the U.S. Constitution, becoming the very first state. Now let's talk about why this coin could be worth big money. Most circulated 1999 D Delaware quarters are worth face value about 25 cents. However, there are certain factors that can cause the value to skyrocket. These factors include condition, mint errors, and collector demand. If your quarter is in pristine condition, meaning it has no scratches, discoloration, or signs of wear, it could be worth much more. Coins graded MS-67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. For example, a 1999 D Delaware Quarter graded MS-68 once sold at auction for over $3,000. That is right, over $3,000 for a single quarter. But condition is not the only thing to watch for. Mint errors can make these coins extremely valuable. Look for things like double die obverse, meaning the image on the front of the coin is doubled off, center strikes where the image is not properly centered, clipped planchets where a piece of the coin is missing, or other striking anomalies. Some error coins from the 1999 D batch have sold for as much as $1,500 depending on the rarity and condition. Now here is a pro tip: if you find a 1999 D quarter with a strong, clean strike, full detail on Washington's hair, and sharp lettering with no visible signs of circulation, you should definitely consider getting it professionally graded. Even without an error, a high mint state quarter from 1999 can fetch between $50 and $500 on the current market. Moving on, let's discuss the current market value as of today. Circulated 1999 D Delaware quarters generally sell for face value unless they have unusual qualities. However, an uncirculated example, raw meaning not professionally graded, can bring between $1 and $10 depending on the seller and buyer demand. Graded coins show a wide range in price. MS-65 coins often sell for about $20 to $30. MS-66 coins jump up to $50 to $70. MS-67 coins can range from $100 to $250, and those rare MS-68 specimens could still pull in $3,000 or more if the market conditions are right. It is important to remember that coin values fluctuate based on supply and demand, economic conditions, and the number of collectors looking for specific coins. Professional auctions on sites like Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, and even eBay can sometimes see bidding wars that drive prices up well beyond normal catalog values. If you are lucky enough to own a 1999 D Delaware quarter in superb condition with a unique mint error, you could be holding a small fortune in your hand. Before we wrap up, let's do a quick checklist for spotting a valuable 1999 D1787 Washington Quarter. First, look for minimal signs of wear, strong luster, and clear, sharp details. Second, check for any obvious mint errors like doubling off-center strikes or clipped edges. Third, consider professional grading for anything you believe is mint state or has a notable error. And finally, stay informed about current market trends by watching auctions and checking reputable coin value resources. In conclusion, the 1999 D1787 Washington Quarter Dollar is not just a piece of pocket change, it is a fascinating part of American history, and for some lucky collectors it can also be a ticket to big money. Thanks so much for. We are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2017 Washington Quarter Dollar. This is not just any quarter. Some examples are actually worth a lot more than 25 cents. So if you have a jar of spare change at home, you might want to listen closely. You could be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. First, let's start with a little background. In 2010, the United States Mint launched the America the Beautiful Quarters program. This was a special series of quarters honoring national parks and historic sites across the United States. In 2017, one of the designs released was the Frederick Douglass National Historic Site Quarter. This is the quarter we are focusing on today. The obverse, or front of the coin, features the classic portrait of George Washington. This design by John Flanagan has been used on quarters since 1932 with only slight modifications over the years. The reverse or back design for the 2017 Frederick Douglass Quarter shows Frederick Douglass seated at a writing desk with his home, the Douglass National Historic Site in Washington, D.C., shown in the background. It is a powerful tribute to one of the greatest abolitionists and writers in American history. Now let's get into the mint marks. The 2017 quarter was minted at 3 different locations. Philadelphia, which is indicated by AP mint mark. Denver, which has a D mint mark. And San Francisco with an S mint mark. Today we are focusing on the 2017 minted in Philadelphia. So how many of these quarters were made? According to the official U.S. Mint records, around 287.6 million Frederick Douglass quarters were struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 2017. That is a huge number. At first glance, you might think that makes the coin common and not very valuable. But as always in the coin world, it is not just about how many were made. It is about condition, rarity, errors, and demand. Certain 2017 quarters can bring serious money if they have the right characteristics. Let's talk about them. First is condition. If your 2017 quarter is in pristine condition, meaning it shows no wear, no scratches, and has full original luster, it could be worth much more than face value. In the coin collecting world, this top condition is called mint state. Specifically, collectors look for coins graded MS67, MS68, or even higher. Only a tiny fraction of coins ever survive in these elite grades. To give you an idea of value, an example of a 2017 Frederick Douglass quarter graded MS67 by a top grading service has sold at auction for around $80 to $120. If you find one graded MS68, which is extremely rare, prices can shoot up to several $100s. Some auction records even show these high-grade examples reaching over $500. Second is errors. Certain types of mistakes made at the mint can cause a coin to become extremely valuable. Collectors go crazy for errors. For the 2017 Washington Quarter, some of the known errors include double dies, where parts of the design are doubled, off-center strikes, where the image is not properly aligned, and die cracks or die chips, which cause raised lines or blobs on the coin surface. A major double die or a dramatic off-center strike could easily sell for $100 to $300 or more, depending on severity and demand. Even minor errors like small die chips can sometimes fetch $10 to $30, especially if the chip looks unusual or interesting. Third is special varieties. For some America the Beautiful quarters, the U.S. Mint also issued enhanced uncirculated sets. These coins have a special finish and can be much more valuable than regular circulation coins. While the 2017 quarter from circulation is common, these enhanced uncirculated versions with the special satin-like finish can be worth much more. Some graded examples sell for $30 to $80 or higher. Now let's talk about the current market. As of this year, 2025, the typical 2017 Frederick Douglass quarter from regular pocket change is worth face value about 25 cents. However, uncirculated examples straight from mint rolls might sell for around $1 to $2 each. Certified high-grade MS-67 examples typically sell in the range of $80 to $150 depending on eye appeal and demand. Rare MS-68 graded coins could bring up to $500 or even more at auction. Error coins are especially hot right now. Even minor errors can bring premiums. Serious errors can turn a common quarter into a $100 or multi-$100 find, so what should you look for if you want to check your own coins at home? First, find a good light and a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at Frederick Douglass' image and the writing on the coin. Search for any doubling, unusual lines, or missing details. Check the edges of the coin to see if it was struck off center. Inspect the fields for any cracks, raised lumps, or blobs. These are often signs of valuable mint errors. If you think you have a high-grade coin or a major error, it may be worth sending it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Certification can help you get the maximum value if you decide to sell. Finally, remember that the value of collectible coins can change over time based on market trends. Right now, America, the beautiful quarters are gaining more interest because the series has ended and collectors are rushing to complete their sets. That means demand is up and prices are strong, especially for rare varieties and high-grade examples. So there you have it. The 2017 P. Frederick Douglass Washington Quarter may be common in pocket change, but in the right condition or with the right error, it can be worth a lot of money. Be sure to check your change carefully. You might just find a hidden treasure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss our next deep dive into valuable coins you can find in everyday life. Until next time, happy hunting.